Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Okay. Three, two, one. Hey, KK, welcome.
What's up?
So the government gave us another 21 days. The
Mm-hmm.
Kenyan government, let me say that because clearly you ditched us.
Ah,
So, so they want us to do, clearly want us to do more episodes. So to celebrate that today, I got us a special guest, a
mm-hmm.
super celebrity. He's a super celebrity, huge coming up rapper by the name Batman Kamal. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Intro. Yeah. So Cakes, we got a big celebrity today, and we're gonna be discussing with him about how he's dealing with COVID, where he is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give him a quick call. When you laugh like that, right? Yeah, he should be connecting soon if he picks up. You know how the celebrities are. Hey, Mr.
Ah,
Kamal, what's up?
hello. How are you?
We're
I'm
good,
good.
man. How you doing, bro?
Very good, very good. Lovely to be a guest to the show today.
No worries, man. No worries, bro.
Yeah,
Anytime, anytime.
amazing. You all could have me. Hey, Kenya Lynn, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
You alright? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is your mom good? Yeah. Hmm?
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. She wants food.
Mr.
Yeah. Hmm? Come to the hood.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shungo, my God.
What's up? Lovely to be on the show.
Yeah, welcome, welcome,
So,
man. What's up, Batman Kamal? I was just telling these guys how you're a big upcoming rap artist.
yeah,
How to hit the game hard.
exactly. Hit the ground running. Don't put me in a box. I do a lot of things, but yes. Rapping is one of my side hobbies.
Uh, I understand there's an album coming up soon, but we will talk about that like later on in the episode, man. Right now, let's get a bit serious.
Yeah.
Let's talk this like wanted to discuss with you about how you're dealing with like the COVID situation and everything with the curfew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that, man? Here in South Africa, it's a lot more intense. We've been on lockdown for almost 2 months now. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm, sad, but basically you're just locked in the crib. You can go shop, but you can't go to the mall. You know, meet new women.
There's barring of
Secret,
alcohol sales, right, in South Africa.
yeah, and cigarettes even. You know.
What?
which makes what I'm doing right now completely illegal. But
It is what it is.
I love cigars. Stacked up on my cigarettes before. But if you don't have cigarettes, it's like 5 rand a cigarette. It's like 40 bob a cigarette
Wow.
right now. Imagine. And you can't buy from a shop. You can only buy from like a street boy or some shit, basically.
That's rough, man.
So,
Like how are people like coping with that Joneses, man? Like, and we have some friends who are like super addicted to cigarettes. So I'm just
no,
wondering if they're in that situation.
they're not coping. They're not coping. They're looting this. They're not,
Bastard.
but people can buy cigarettes from what's it? From Zimbabwe, like so. So criminals be making the money now.
Yeah, the black market must be thriving. I mean, realistically, they're the ones who are making a lot of money.
Yeah, and then the government and tax on that is what like that's a big part of the tax the government makes cigarettes and alcohol. So
But they say that the reason why they were doing that is because South Africans continue to braai if they're allowed to drink alcohol.
yeah, true. No, true. I think it's definitely hard to control people when they're lit. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
Do you think it's based in
I
the
think
culture or what?
I think I don't. Yeah, both are standing up. Yeah. As you know, season like
Do you
okay,
feel
not
that?
like okay, not like Kenya, but like they like okay, like at the end of the week, guys won't turn up. Not actually, they won't turn up during the week like Kenyans or something, but on the weekend you have to release that stress. So on a weekend you can't tell someone like to don't get drunk. It's like you know, like the
It's like
guys
taboo.
like it's right to get drunk on the weekend, so it's like yeah. But it's okay. But people have alcohol though as well, but they're paying like twice the
Do you
price.
guys like clubs are open?
Huh?
Clubs are open.
No. They've been closed for 2 months now.
Mm.
Imagine if you own a club and now you've
Yeah.
Yeah,
been closed for two
yeah.
months and you can't pay people no money. And then, so yeah, even restaurants, all the restaurants have been closed since, for the last 2 months.
So where are people turning up?
See in the house. If you have alcohol, if you had enough to last you.
And what do you think the economic effects will be like in South Africa after this? Because like South Africa's economy is also really wine based because they sell a lot and export a lot.
Yeah. Well, then they banned also exporting of stuff. So I don't even think they've been exporting wine for the last
Yeah.
2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem. Yeah, it's actually it's okay at least because the corona is not like spread too much here, but economically it wasn't like cigarettes don't make people aggressive or and they make a lot of money, so they should have kept selling cigarettes. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit tricky. You know this place. You lived here before.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. You know how it's like. You can have poverty right next to serious wealth. So some people. So like some guys. Let's say it's like they're all now the guys in the hood are locked up very well. Like the
Yeah.
cops are there, the military are there. But if you live in a house here, that I've never seen a soldier ever since the lockdown started. And like even on the like I've driven, a bit. I mean to go buy stuff and I've never seen even a soldier anywhere. So and in those places the soldiers are everywhere. So and then those guys work for rich guys who can survive even a year without work,
Yeah.
but they can't go to work. It's like
Okay.
Tricky situation.
it's a lot more than Kenya. It's not like Kenya. It's a lot more like in Kenya at least Kenyans are
Mm-hmm.
doing well, and they're the ones who live in, like in Runda or Karen, But here, it's a lot of, the real owners of the place live in the hood. So, they
Yeah.
can.
Real stuck living.
So yeah, so that's the only problem. Yeah, you have to make sure people eat.
Yeah. So what people may not know is that you're, aside from being a rapper, you're also an engineer, very well educated engineer.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
And I know you have a project that you're working on.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
how has the period hindered you? Was it like aided you or was it hindered you?
Uh, okay, well, what I was doing was drones, and drones is like not really too affected by Corona. Actually, if anything, Corona has helped it a bit because now people will adopt stuff quicker because like like one of the uses for my drones is to find people in a crowd who have a fever or something. So maybe you can stop someone who had a fever from entering, a sports event or entering a train or something like that. So that's like a new opportunity brought out by this. Where before, until something happened. So yeah. So no, it's opened some opportunities, and it's given me more time to work, I guess. At work.
Okay. I had a question. What now that Corona has happened, and they're saying that millennials are the people who have suffered the most from Corona because we were the loneliest generation to begin with.
Yeah.
As a business owner, when you become big, because you've experienced Corona, like being part of it, right? So, what do you think you will add to your business model to ensure that your employees are set up? Because a big majority of millennials have been put out of employment due to the fact that they had just joined whatever industry they're
Yeah.
in. So, as someone who potentially will start a business or is in the process of doing it, do you think you'll be able to ensure that your staff have the security of knowing they have a job or having healthcare? Because if we're being told that Corona will have to live with it, what would you do to help your staff?
Well, okay, I guess the main thing that staff need is what money. So, I think the main thing is if it really depends on the business you're in. So, like, if it's like okay, like I was saying, drones, for instance, my business could spike for maybe I'll make less money from moving things around, but I'd make more money now from maybe finding 6 people or this or that. So some businesses can like adapt, but some can't really adapt. Like let's say airlines, a lot of people lose jobs because airlines, unless they can actually fly and not fly like once a day, and fly like that plane. That plane needs to be in the air like constantly the whole month or something. So like those guys, if you don't, and let's say their margin is only 5%, so if you're not running,
You're frozen, bro. Like you're frozen.
that's it. It froze, huh?
Internet in South
Yeah, it
Africa.
froze for a second.
I noticed that, like what? Yeah. Okay. No. So I was saying we were talking about stuff. No, so I was saying because every business is different, you can't really say exactly how you'd help them. But I think the best way you can help them is just make sure that they have good and good unemployment insurance. And this is the messed up thing with business is like, okay, you'd like to think sometimes like, nah, this business can suffer for like 6 months and pay its people till it's almost broke. But that business is owned by someone just like you, and even that person, why would they lose 6 months of losing value in your business when you could just fold everyone up in a month and keep, at least you can keep your investment, and once things improve you can reinvest that money, but it's actually, I think even though it's tough, I'd say it's probably better for the business to wind up at that moment and then or reopen later, and all of you have a chance to get a job back there. But you can't ask a business to die out because of helping people. That's a problem. So, like, really, it's a bit tricky.
No, that makes sense, man. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as like your staff are important, you yourself are also important. I mean, you worked hard.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want to do is like watch it just fall or burn down to like ashes. So you'd rather save the most of it as you can, even if that means having to like lay off a lot of staff without any benefit. It is what it is,
Okay, no benefits part. That one is, but you know how, I mean, first they have to remember, like, okay, in Kenya, for instance, if you notice, people haven't been like fired at the same speed as America. Because we have like a bit more, we have a much more of a welcoming attitude, and But in America, if a restaurant doesn't, run for a month, they can't afford to pay people. Like their margin was 20%, and those countries, no benefits thing is built into the contract. Like in Kenya, at least, even your boss will feel bad. He'll be like, nah, it's easier to pay for another. The guy your boss won't let you get evicted. Maybe he won't pay you rent, but pay you your salary, but he'll at least help you somehow, some way.
Yeah, they cushion the fall more, right?
Yeah, but it's even in more developed countries, it's worse.
I think in developed countries it's worse because, like, for me, that's why I came to the US, right? And we were lucky that we were told prior that, hey, listen, Corona could really mess everything up. So we'll pay you until this date, but realistically, the hotel is closing, right? And they update you like every couple of weeks, informing you, okay, this is what's happening, so on and so forth. But I've seen people who literally today you get a letter saying your job has ended here, and that's it. Now you're filing for unemployment. There's so many things, right? And the system is always stacked against the employee majority of the time, especially here. Yeah. So it's ridiculous to think that you can pay your rent and survive on a stimulus check that you got, I don't know, a month ago, So it's like, I understand what you're saying, but like majority, because I was reading a few articles and they're saying millennials are the ones who have suffered the most when it comes to financially, mentally, because we're the ones who are meant to be going into the workforce, or creating our own workforces.
Yeah.
And you can imagine here where everybody is filing for unemployment, what workforce are you going into, So it's fun.
Yeah, us guys have to get our own jobs, man.
But how are you going to create jobs in an economy where the government is paying you to survive?
No, okay, well, I don't know. Me, the only country, first of all, the country I think which did the best is England, because those guys are paying guys 80% of your salary straight. And England don't play. England, there's one thing I like about that place. Like, in fact, if there's any country which respects its citizens the most, it's probably England. At least they paid guys. Even I have a friend who was a Kenyan guy who went on holiday he's even right now he's in Naivasha.
Yeah.
Back there. And he's still being paid 80% of his salary every month. He's not even at work. But, but honestly, apart from that, almost every other country, if you don't work for 2-3 months,
you're screwed, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to be rude about it, man, but I feel like, you see, with us Kenyan, like with Kenya and like African countries, we have like more of an opportunity to like grow stronger out of this situation.
Yeah.
Especially with the employment situation and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are not like that hugely populated as America is right now.
Yeah.
And like we may have a lot of like unemployed people, but like job opportunities will come once like all this is ended and manufacturing and like our need for development is increased. Like the workforce will, but like in America, it will hit them so hard. And what most Americans are used to is like the rioting for wage. Like they can't be taking minimum wage. Yet here in Kenya, if you give them minimum wage, they'd be happy because most people are paid below minimum wage. So if you give them the opportunity to work with minimum wage, they'll take it, as opposed to what Americans would do.
But I think it's because the business models are completely different, Because like, as Shongo said, I lived in SA, I've worked in SA, I've worked in Kenya, and I've worked here. And it's the simplest thing as here you can be paid bi-monthly and you're paid per hour. In Kenya, you get a structured salary, right? So the reason why I feel like Africa will not suffer as much is because their business model is completely different.
Yeah.
And there's more, I don't want to say more respect per se for the people who employ you here, because you're paid per hour. So you come to do a job. In Kenya, there's a bit of a lax per se. At the end of the month, you must get your salary. So either way, you will be paid, right?
Yes.
But I think you're right to a certain extent because we will be able, of course, probably a lot of people are dying that is not documented, and there are countries who seem to don't believe that this thing is real and they don't want assistance. But at the end of the day, yeah, Africa will survive, I guess, because that's what everyone is doing. But you can see how economies like America's economy is going in the direction of the Great Depression because so many
Yeah.
people have filed for unemployment.
Mm.
But as I said, the people who take most of the rant are us guys, people our age. Because we are the people who are fresh into the company. You know, if you're at a management level, by the time they're getting rid of you, the hoops they
Yeah.
have to jump through. But when
Yeah.
you're entry level, my friend, they don't know you.
Easily replaceable, yeah.
Last in, first out.
Exactly.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
don't owe us anything, man. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's also now going to affect people's mental health. And that's why I asked Shongo the question I did, because I wanted to see what our generation's ideas would be. Because I was reading a couple of articles and they talk about how we, as I said, are the loneliest generation. And we now are the generation with the most depressed people. And it's 55% worse now than before in America because guys are getting misdiagnosed or we sort of behave like it's not there, you know? You try to divert your problem somewhere else instead of dealing with the issue per se. So I don't know how the workplace will change after COVID because that's also another concern that I have. You don't want to go into a situation where you know you have mental issues for real, but you're hiding it because let's say you're embarrassed or the institution doesn't have facilities to deal with it. So I don't know, maybe that's a conversation people have to have with their employers. And I always tell people, by the time you're doing an interview after COVID, please ask them what they've put in place for you as an employee. Because you know it's not the same as before. Some people didn't have healthcare.
like
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, where he got cancer and he had to become a drug dealer to pay off
To
all
pay
his
for
debt.
to pay for treatment. You see, imagine.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know. Okay, like a name, but me,
It's
if I
fine.
was going to live somewhere, I cannot leave that place, America. Just because of the healthcare. The healthcare, then add being black as a male. Hey, but the healthcare is a big issue because if you can't
No, I
afford,
agree. I agree.
like, how
And
much is it?
they're very blatant about it. You know, it's like it's ridiculous with the things that are going on. For instance, when I now, because I was in Florida and I moved to Texas, right? My insurance was $125 a month, right?
Mm.
And that's expensive because I know like people who pay $299 for 3 people, right? But those are the requirements of the visa, okay? So you pay it every month willingly. But if you look at the fine print of what they're telling you at you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, it's a bit ridiculous. And I always tell Kenyans the thing we take for granted is the fact that things are more open, per se. You know, here they'll give you a whole list of things. Like us guys, when you get your insurance package, they tell you these are the sports that you can do. These are the sports if you do, insurance doesn't cover. And some of them are a bit ridiculous, you know, like skydiving. Of course, I know insurance will not cover skydiving. It doesn't matter what
yeah,
country you're in, you're testing fate, right?
Mm.
But they even tell you don't go to the ER. If you're sick, call us first. My friend, if I get shot, how am I
Oh,
going to
these
go
insurance guys
night?
in
Yeah,
America.
yeah. They tell you
Yeah,
don't go straight to
like,
the ER. These are now the
yeah,
type of things you don't know until you get here, right? You
yeah,
can't go to the ER because they start charging you from when you enter the hospital, and that's the most
imagine.
expensive door to walk in through in the US, right? So it's like ridiculous. They tell
emergency
you
room,
there are hospitals they're okay with, there are hospitals they're not okay with. So you have to tell them where you are so they can tell you the closest ones. If you look at NHIF, my friend, they tell you to pick your main hospital, the one closest to you. At least they'll pay some of your bed. You know, these small things they tell you while you're paying that 500 bob a month. And this is why I tell people all the time, we complain so much about being in Kenya, but there are privileges of being part of that system. That's just how I look at it. Because like look at even employment. When I was working in Kenya, I would get housing allowance and transport allowance, right? And on top of that, if you're part of the union, there are certain perks you gain. Here, which union are you going to join? First of
What I
all,
find funny,
you're
sorry, also like what I find funny is how like most people say they'd rather you call them an Uber than an ambulance instead of going to hospital. Like if it's an emergency,
even
yeah,
in
And I'm
Kenya,
bro, an
even in
ambulance,
Kenya,
bro,
it's the same thing. Yeah.
will break your bank. They'll just call
Because
an Uber.
straight away, when you enter an ambulance in Kenya, they take you to ICU. It does not matter what you have.
Mm.
That's just what it is.
And I think ICU is like minimum 300,000.
I don't want to find out. It's okay. We don't.
Whoa,
Those prices, none of
hey.
us have that type of money.
No, but actually, but one thing I can say I like about South Africa, the healthcare is epic and it's cheap. Like,
Maybe
yeah.
we had
like,
different experiences.
where
South
were you
Africa's
though?
healthcare system is.
Where were you though?
I was in Cape Town.
Which okay, no, okay, I don't know. Then okay, they're nice doctors, they're nice hospitals. I don't know. Of course, if you go to one in the hood, then you know. But recently, okay, let me tell you. Yeah, so of course, I got health insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
The other day, the health insurance paid $60 for my glasses for free. Like, you know, that's epic, man. It's
Yeah.
health insurance. Yeah, it's good. Like the quality here. Okay, in the UK, one of my roommates got knocked out at some point, and I had to go to the hospital. And when I went to that hospital, there were hella old people in there. That's the only problem with England. The hospital is full of old niggas. So even you, when you go in, you're sick, you're just gonna go sit. Like you're gonna sit in a waiting room surrounded by guys who are all 80, 90. It's like it's like full, as in it's full of them.
Yeah.
So now I can imagine now during Corona how much of a mess it must be. So okay, you get the healthcare, but you know it's healthcare on an industrial level, you know. But
I guess
here,
it becomes that true.
here I'd say you get like the same level with like if you go to a nice hospital, like
Yeah.
you of course it's a choice, you know. If you go, like okay, me the ones I've gone, I'm sure even in Cape Town there must be a nice one. There must be those Mediclinic ones. There must be a nice one.
For me, it wasn't even the fact that it wasn't nice or anything. It's just the price they were charging for things didn't make sense.
But didn't
I
you have
was in an
insurance?
accident. Yeah, I had Kenyan insurance. First of all, that is
Oh
another
no, not
topic for
Kenya, no,
another
you
day.
get the
That
insurance for
is
here.
no, but that's the thing because I was on a student visa. Where did I get insurance? In Kenya. I wish
Oh, you
I
have
knew.
to
I
before
would
you
have
go.
booked it while I was At that time, you had to get it prior. So I wish I knew this before I left
Yeah.
because I would have got good insurance in SA. But like I got into a car accident and I went to hospital, right?
You kept
And
that.
and they told me that's another story. And they told me that to just see the doctor, I had to remove 1,000 rand because my insurance is the type that they pay you back your money after you've seen the doctor and he's written everything, right? So I asked them $1,000, and this is a big hospital, right?
Rand. This is rand or dollars?
Rand.
Rand.
Why did you say okay.
So
Dollars for a second.
currency is hard when you're not in the same country.
Sorry. Ooh.
Anyways,
okay.
so you can imagine, even before they do the tests or anything, this is just.
But
so
okay, 1,000 rand is fair. But me, I'm talking about the quality of the healthcare, first of all. But
1,000
1,000
rand is fair.
is 7,000. No, but I'm saying compared even to America, that's reasonable.
Are you mad?
How much
That's
would
too
they
much,
charge you?
bro.
First, we had foreign insurance. That's me. I think that's reasonable.
Okay, Bash, you're willing to pay 1,000 rand, 10K just to see a
Okay,
doctor.
Bash,
This
I'm
is
you're in
what
a
I'm
begging,
car
bro.
to
accident.
understand.
Bash, you were in a car accident. You're paying because of the insurance, but I mean, see, your insurance is still gonna pay the main bill. Is that
Not
maybe a
like
private?
COVID
Negotiate.
period.
It doesn't matter. That's not.
Nah, okay, may I say 1,000 rand? 1,000 rand is not even what I pay for insurance in a month. I mean, that's like I pay like 3K or something.
Tell them to bring me my money.
No, but you pay what? You pay
That's
$100.
percentage,
You
sir.
pay $100.
I
No,
don't
see,
anymore. Yeah.
I use okay. So Discovery Insurance, the ones
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
I even use one of the most basic plans, but it's epic. Good, they paid for my glasses. I can go to any hospital
But are
anytime.
you
Any
sure that
doctor.
it's just not the right insurance? Because we're basing this off
Okay,
of the
may I
fact
think? Okay,
that
may I
you
think
found
maybe
the
your
one that worked
situation.
for you.
If your health insurance was from SA, you'd I don't think you'd have been asked to pay that amount.
Of course,
But
of course.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just saying if like the way Kenyans go to India for healthcare.
Yeah.
Me as
Yeah.
being described to what it is, like if you have cancer and you go there, you get there no privacy, fam. You go and you'll be told you have cancer in a room with 6 other patients. Then
That's true. Yeah.
there's no apparently the hospitals don't have good like you can't spend the night in the hospital. Like you do your surgery and you go home. I mean you go to the hotel basically and
So
then you keep coming back every day for checkups and
yeah.
then you eventually fly back.
The
But
thing with India, let me explain it to you. So my auntie's dad
yeah,
was in India for like 2, 3 years, right?
yeah.
And
What
these are
treatment
just
also
these are people with money. Let me explain it to you like that. So
for treatment or for
for treatment for cancer,
yeah. Okay.
um, what she told me is it's become a form of tourism. They have that's what it is. In India,
Mm,
it's different. So they even have places where sick people can stay. That's not the hospital, you know?
Mhm.
So that's why I'm saying every country's design, be it insurance, be it healthcare, whatever it is,
yeah,
has to be able to work for the people. The problem with America is it's not working for anybody except the rich.
yeah,
Yeah.
If you're a pharmaceutical company, it works for you.
yeah,
If you're the owner of the hospital, you're lucky. But everybody else, if you're talking about someone from The Walking Dead, do you honestly believe that he does not have the money? But to him, it's so ridiculous. He's capable of paying it. That's fine. But to him,
yeah.
it makes no sense. Look at someone
Okay.
like Pink. Her and her son, I think her and her son, who's 5, had corona, right? And when she became better, she had to donate because to her, it was not making sense why it's so expensive. These are people who are talking about people with money, right?
To do the
Now
test, huh? Or to do what?
yeah. Now you
Yeah.
imagine me and you if we get corona here in America. So it's over.
That's what
So
I was telling Wenda. I was telling Wenda was like, no, the healthcare in America is brilliant. I was like, my friend, if you, your mom, your sister, all go and you all of you got corona, and let's say your household, all 5 of
Yeah.
you got corona, it's going to cost your mom 50,000, almost what $40,000-$50,000 just to find out that you have corona. Even before you start, like America is mad, man.
do
Like
anything, yeah.
The problem with their
it's
healthcare system is it's so privatized that they're trying to leech and gain all the money they can from you. It does not matter who you are.
mm,
So at the end of the day, no one enjoys paying that 50,000 that Mwenda might think is such a small amount of money. Realistically, you don't want to give that money to somebody.
Yeah.
yeah, no. But
Yeah.
that's what I was just saying from my observation. If I was
Mhm.
like a Kenyan who was a bowler, and one day I was anticipating maybe I'll get sick, I'd get insurance. I'd get that Discovery insurance here, and then
Yeah.
when you come, you go to an epic ass hospital. If you plan in advance and you know, I'd
Yeah.
definitely. It's way better than at least in terms of how you'll be treated and
Which is
everything.
also
Way better
important.
than
Yeah.
India. Way
Yeah.
better than India. cheaper than Europe and about the same, and America is not even on the cards. So.
That's completely off tangent. There, you can't even. Where?
This is the cheapest place for quality healthcare, at least. But
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. So for the last 1 minute that we have, even though we've gone a bit over time, would you like to give like our fans a little like story about your rap game, Shango?
about my rap game.
Yeah.
My roommate in uni was a rapper, and then now he had a mic and everything, so we just used to record for fun. And then now the songs have accumulated to the point I can release a mixtape. But I mean, there can only be one Drake, there can only be one a little wine, But I think at the end of it, I think everyone should release an album. That's what I think. I think everyone has an album in them. You don't have to sound perfect. It needs to be.
You need to be talented. Excuse me, not everybody.
No. It's not going to be distributed to everyone. But I'm just saying, even if it's whatever, even if it's just for you singing in the shower, everyone has an album inside,
Okay.
Kenelin has an R&B one. Kenelin already has an R&B one with.
Why is that what you think my album would be?
Yeah, it's an R&B one, shots on the beach.
I'm so tired.
Actually, I agree. I concur with
Even
Sean.
you bash and you have an album.
I am about to drop one, man. Keep a lookout
An
for Big Ben.
album. Some shades.
Yeah, nigga, some serious heat, bro. Bars, man. Bars. Big bars. Anyway, man. So thank you, Batman, come out for showing up.
Yeah, man. It's been good to be on the show,
Yeah, definitely, man. Hope to have you as a guest soon again.
Yeah, anytime.
Maybe when you drop your album next, we can have a good interview.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep you all updated on my projects,
Don't worry, man. I'll link these guys with your social media and your songs.
Yeah, It's on Instagram at Badman Kamal, Very memorable name.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, my G. Take care, man. All right, KK, you too, bro. Peace.
Bye.